Hello fellow pipe smokers. Today I thought I would bring a brief explanation of the different types of tobacco. As I've been doing videos with my lovely wife Lady Fire, there's all kinds of questions that come up from the beginner pipe smokers, so I thought I would kind of condense 15 hours of videos that you can see on YouTube into maybe 3 minutes of explaining the different types. So again, this is a brief overview just to simplify things, so everything will be generalized. So I wrote here the major categories of what you would see in tobacco leaves. We have the Virginia, the Burleys, and the Orientals, and I put some other ones here for you guys to research if you want to look at some other ones that are not as used as the ones that we're going to mention. What makes them be in this category is their content, how they grow, how they're processed. For example, the Virginia, even though there's more than 100 different types of those, they all have the same characteristics of having high sugar and low oil, and also they're processed in a fuel cure process that takes about 5 days of slow burning, and that's mainly done to maintain the sugar on the leaf. You guys know the bright Virginias and the red Virginias, and I also wrote here mostly where they're mostly grown, even though that they're grown in many more places than this. For example, Brazil is a place that grows a lot of the tobaccos other than the places here in the United States. The second leaf is the Burley, and types of leaves that are like Burley are the ones that are in low sugar and high oil. These are mostly air cured, process that takes about 8 weeks, and because we don't need to preserve the sugar in these types of leaves, you know, the process is different than the flue cure process. The third type of leaf is the Oriental leaves. There's again many varieties of those. I found about 40 varieties. I'm sure there's might be more, and these are kind of in between. They're a medium sugar, medium oil, and they're sun cured when they are processed. Also, these Oriental leaves, as different from the first two, they're smaller and they're very aromatic. You can, right off the bat, you can smell them, and they smell, give you all kinds of aromas, where some of the other ones, where they're in the pure form, might not get much of a smell until they're processed. From these main categories, we get what we have in the pipe tobaccos. When you look in the description, you might see some of these other names. These are all process of this type of leaves. For example, the Cavendish comes from both the Virginia and the Burley. Sometimes they use Virginia, sometimes they use Burley, and there's a process where you can either flavor it and unflavor it. You steam it, you press it, you heat it, and it's the Cavendish process. There's a traditional and a black Cavendish. Again, I won't go into much detail of those to keep the video short. From the Burleys, you get the Dark Fire Kentucky. People in Kentucky don't want to call it Burley, they want to call it Kentucky, but it's the same low sugar, high oil type of leaf that is air cured, and then it's put under hardwood heat for 14 to 16 days to get that high nicotine content, make it really dark, and it's what you use for pipe tobacco, also for chewing tobacco. They use this Dark Fire Kentucky. We also have Perique, that is also a Burley type leaves. There's actually grown there to use for the Perique. There's two types, one is grown there and one is kind of a mixture of other leaves, and it's all done in Louisiana, and it's fermented in the whiskey barrels for 1 year under extreme pressure, 30 tons of pressure, and with specific ingredients, almost like a secret what the ingredients are, and that's what gives that Perique type taste. And then we have Latakia that comes from the Oriental leaves, and again, it's going to vary depending on what leaves they use, depending what region they are, what soil it is, and the process they use. But for the most part, this is a process that takes 5 to 6 months, and they smoke over softwood versus hardwood, and that gives it that smell that you smell in Latakia. Is also because it's smoked over so long, it loses a lot of the nicotine. So as opposed to Dark Fire Kentucky, Latakia is mostly low in nicotine, where dark fire is high in nicotine. As opposed to Perique, that you know pretty much what you're going to get when you have Perique, Latakia, there's going to be more variety because of the different types of leaves that is used, plus the different areas that is grown. You know, people know about the Syrian versus the Cyprian, and just in those two, there's a difference in nicotine content. So just so you know, all Latakia is not created equal. So again, this is just a brief overview so that you guys can have a quick explanation and understanding how the different leaves are. If you have any questions, you can write on the comments below and I can go into more detail, but hopefully this helps, especially the new pipe smoker, in terms of kind of figuring out what is in their blends. Until next time, Flat Cap out.